So, nearby Brad, what is your favourite drink to take a shot of?
Oh, water. No.
That's your answer. Done. During the time it aired, Breaking Bad was the King Midas of television, in that virtually everything it touched saw a surge of public interest directed towards it. Strange then that one of the things that fans most wanted to get their hands on isn't available to buy anywhere on Earth, in part because the company that made it didn't want their product to be seen killing a drug lord. So that's the thing, saying that doesn't exactly narrow it down, because there's a lot of things in Breaking Bad that kill drug lords, including wheelchairs.
A lot of people die in a lot of ways in that show.
They do, yes. A lot of people die a lot of ways in Breaking Bad. I'm going to try not to spoil any of them, but I guess we kind of have to for this one, because we're talking about the character of Don Eladio, I believe, who is killed by Gustavo Fring using not this tequila, but tequila. And I will take a shot of this tequila when we finish this video. And this is my personal favourite brand of tequila, Olmeca Tequila Blanco. You tried Olmeca? This isn't a plug, it's just this is the tequila that I drink.
I don't think I've had it.
Yeah, because I think tequila is one of those alcohols that a lot of people have negative associations with, because they either have bad tequila or, as I'm presuming the same is for myself and you, Brad, had tequila as like a punishment drink when they were a student.
Yes.
So did you ever do a thing like you have to do a shot of tequila?
Yeah, it was tequila or sambuca. They were the punishment drinks.
A bit of buca. As a result, tequila tends to get a bad rap with a lot of people, when in reality, tequila, or at least good tequila, goes down very smooth. And do you know what tequila goes down the smoothest of all?
Which tequila?
That is Zafiro Añejo, which is the made-up fake tequila they used on Breaking Bad to kill Don Eladio, the man who is forbidden from ever leaving his...
I was gonna say, like, the reason I know Don Eladio's name is because you referred to him as the pool vampire.
Yeah, so if people don't know, there's like a running joke in the Breaking Bad fan community that Don Eladio is a vampire who's cursed to never leave his pool. Because every scene of him in both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, he's just next to his pool.
This is your new employer. You address him as Don Eladio. It's a term of respect.
Hola, joven.
They like that look.
Yeah.
Like, drug lord in a Hawaiian shirt next to his pool. But because he's in his pool, next to his pool in every shot, the theory is, he's a vampire. He can never leave his pool. It is his curse.
Oh, God. I mean, it's not the worst curse.
We'll bring it back to Zafiro Añejo. It features prominently in the episode Salud, by which I mean it is the tequila which is directly responsible for the deaths of about a dozen high-ranking members of the Mexican drug cartel.
No, imposible. Zafiro Añejo. Miren, hasta la botella es una obra de arte. Es perfección.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Gustavo Fring brings it along as a gift.
Yes.
For Don Eladio.
Yes.
And Eladio.
Pool vampire.
The pool vampire. And because it is such an exquisite product, it's passed around the entire crew.
And the actual episode is like really well shot, and there's a load of like really great character moments. Because before you realise that the tequila is poisoned, you see like Don Eladio's like Jesse Pinkman's there. Oh, get him a drink, and you see like Gus like no. And that's why, the suspicions in his eyes, like, why? Why would you not want him to drink? Oh, he's a recovering addict. Like, no. And it's like, very clever of Gustavo Fring to, protect his cash cow, but also does it in a way where it doesn't raise suspicion.
Don Eladio, ese es un adicto. Para trabajar, tiene que estar sobrio.
Entonces nada para ti. Oh.
Man, it was such a good scene as well, because obviously anyone who's seen it will know Gus drinks it with them.
And that has to be a knowing nod to the supposed historical reason why enemies brokering peace would, drink together. You ever heard about this?
No.
Would you like when you're having a drink, you'll say cheers and clink the glasses together?
Yeah.
The supposed reason we do that, at least according to some historical accounts, is that when enemies were brokering peace, they would do that to show that there was no poison in theirs or their enemy's drink. So by clinking it together, the two liquids would mix.
Okay, so they'll be fairly full. You hit it with impact, and you don't know where the poison would have gone.
Yeah, so it's to show that I'm not a threat. I'm not going to try and kill you. You're not going to try and kill me. And it's similar to the supposed reason why we shake hands. Because it's to show that your hand is empty and therefore not carrying a weapon, which is why we supposedly shake hands with our right hand, our dominant hand, our weapon-carrying hand.
And that makes perfect sense for Gus as well, because he is meant to be showing that. Well, obviously, you're not going to drink it yourself if it's poison.
Exactly, yeah. So it's it's a thing. It's not poison because I'm going to take a drink. And then you have that great one where he walks into the back and he puts the towel down and throws up in the bathroom.
Even when he's alone and he's making himself throw up, the formality is still there.
Yeah.
So the characterization of Gus is so strong.
And I love that, you can read into that so many ways of it's his way of maintaining control. Of he lost control once. People don't like the story of Don Eladio. He's such a prick. He killed Gus's lover. And that's why he wants his ultimate revenge. His only goal is to get revenge. So he lost control once. So the way he maintains control is by controlling everything around him. With his formality is his adherence to cleanliness.
Was that his lover?
Yeah. That's what they say. It's people don't know Gustav is canonically gay.
Yeah.
In Better Call Saul, they outright state it because they have him flirt with a dude and then leave.
I've not got far enough into Better Call Saul to meet Gus yet. I know he's in it, but
yeah.
Well,
that's the thing is Los Polos Hermanos. He's named after his friend. He says brother, but the subtext is there, and then it's pretty much confirmed in Better Call Saul. Gustavo's gay.
I didn't know.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things it's not so much subtle as it's just an undertone that's there.
I mean, it gives that scene a lot more weight.
He does, yeah. He's killing his lover.
His partner's dead.
Yeah. Well, so when he says my partner, it's there's so many connotations to that.
And that makes the revenge a lot more impactful, I guess.
And that's why that scene's one of the most memorable in the entire show. The problem was, though, they couldn't find anyone who wanted to be the tequila that killed Don Eladio.
You see, you mentioned this to me before we recorded.
Yes.
And my first thing I said to you is I get why.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I understand why.
You don't want the poison tequila to be your tequila.
But that's the thing. The tequila is not what killed him. It's the poison in the tequila.
Yeah, and the fact that tequila is so appealing is the reason why everybody drinks it.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that from our description of the scene, we don't need to explain why a company doesn't want to have their product be seen killing someone, even though it's technically not. But it's just you have someone drink it and then they die. That's not a good visual bit of storytelling to have on screen when your brand is front and center.
Yeah.
Which is weird though, because the Transformers series exists. When we talked about that,
yeah.
Of there were people didn't want their cars to be the Decepticons, even though the Decepticons look way cooler.
Because we made that ad of Ford Mustang, the car that almost killed Shia LaBeouf.
Because people don't know, in Transformers, they got the rights for the Bumblebee car, the Camaro, but they couldn't get the rights for a Ford Mustang, which was annoying from a visual storytelling perspective, because there has been a long-standing rivalry between Camaros and Mustangs, to the point where I think the head of marketing for I don't know who it is makes Camaros, but they were asked what is a Camaro? So that word makes what is it? And they said, it's a vicious gigantic creature that eats Mustangs. That was let's say the two companies were sniping each other in press releases and stuff.
Yeah.
But they wanted Bumblebee to be a Camaro and they wanted Barricade to be a Mustang, but they couldn't do that because Ford would not sign off on a Mustang being the evil Decepticon that ran people over. So instead they made it a police car. And we all when you look at police, that's obviously the evil car. But yeah, it's just kind of weird, isn't it? They didn't want even the joke we make is, who wouldn't want to go buy the car that ran over Shia LaBeouf?
So yeah, I do get it from a business standpoint. You don't want to be the poison tequila.
And that does make sense, except for the fact the evidence doesn't really support that theory. Companies are paranoid about this sort of thing. They're paranoid about their product appearing even peripherally to something bad happening on screen, which is why so many movies that have egregious product placement have such awkward stilted product placement, because the company has so many awkward specific demands for how they want their product to be shown, which is one, really annoying and obnoxious, and two, doesn't really make any sense, because time and time again we've had this happen and it's not been a big deal, including on Breaking Bad with alcohol.
Has this happened before then?
Yes, that's the thing. So before the episode Salute, there's another episode where Hank and Walter are drinking whiskey. Do you know that scene where they're at the pool and they have and they give it to his underage son, and his underage son...
And Walt gets too drunk as well.
Yeah.
I'd take a pass on that one if I were you, okay? Think we've been bogarting this puppy long enough.
Do you know that's a real brand of whiskey that you can buy, and it's supposedly the favourite brand of creator Vince Gilligan.
And let me guess, the sales rocketed
The
up.
sales went through the roof, and as thanks, the company sent Vince Gilligan a case of the whiskey. Because, we sent them a letter, can we use your whiskey on our show? Like, yeah, sure, because it was like they were a smaller brand.
If we plug that whiskey well enough now, will we get a case?
So, and presumably whatever brand of whiskey that was will be in a fact bar below. But that's what makes this so funny. It's not just that this doesn't really hold up, in a broad sense. They had evidence that alcohol appearing on the show, being drunk by a guy who melts people in bathtubs, didn't adversely affect people's perception of it. They just saw it as, that's the whiskey from Breaking Bad, I want that whiskey. They don't care that it's being drunk by Walter, a guy who murders people. They don't care that it's shown making someone sick. Walt Jr. takes a sip and he's like, it's awful.
Yeah, I'd argue that it being force-fed to an underage person who clearly doesn't like it is a worse advert for your product than something that's supposed to be so amazing that everybody wants to have some.
That's the thing, yeah. So according to Vince Gilligan, like I said, no tequila manufacturer wanted us to use their tequila. They just did not... They categorically refused to have their product being shown killing someone. And no matter how many times we explain to them, it's not that your product is killing someone, it's that your product will be so popular and so beloved by everybody in the scene that our character is able to slip poison into it.
It's the lure. That's the idea. You're being lured into drinking something because it's so good.
And keep in mind as well that when they introduced the tequila they ended up making up, the Zafina Anejo, Don Eladio's like, Zafina, where'd you get this, Gustavo? Nobody can get, they have 40 straight seconds of the characters in the show gushing over how good the tequila is. You can't buy advertising like that.
So does this tequila exist?
Well, no, it doesn't exist. And because it doesn't exist, it allowed them to make it look the way they wanted. And do you remember what it looks like? I've got the picture of it here. It has the really crazy stopper on top that looks like the top of an agave cactus.
Yeah.
That's a really iconic thing. And a lot of people, after the episode aired, started Googling Zafiro Anejo. Does this exist? Is it a really rare tequila you can only get in Mexico? It's no, it doesn't.
Well, yeah, I want some. Just talking about it now, I don't care if it poisons somebody. I want to try some.
Well, it's more the thing, fans just wanted it to put on their shelf. They just wanted, a bottle of it as, a conversation starter. Because that's the thing.
The Breaking Bad bottle.
It's also, as well, as a lot of what's known in the industry as, shelf appeal. People think of what shelf appeal is. The design of silhouette of a bottle itself to attract the eye.
Yeah, the Kraken bottles. I love the design of Kraken bottles.
Well, I've got there's some Jack Daniels behind me. It's a very simple design, admittedly, but if you see a bottle of Jack Daniels, you can see that you know what it is on site.
Immediately.
Yeah, it has shelf appeal. And what makes this even funnier is besides the fact that, they already had a brand of alcohol on Breaking Bad that saw sales go through the roof, thanks to it being featured in an episode, they had a perfect case study in the form of Sons of Anarchy. So I just mentioned Jack Daniels, right?
Yeah.
What do you think when you think Jack Daniels?
Texas.
You think America, you think bourbon.
Tennessee.
You think bourbon, you think beer. You think, salt of the earth working men. You might think bikers, because if you watch Sons of Anarchy, you'll notice they drink a lot of Jack Daniels. Or so it seems, because they don't actually drink Jack Daniels, because Jack Daniels did not sign off on their product appearing in Sons of Anarchy, because they were like, well, what's this show about? Well, it's a show about bikers who shoot people. Well, we don't want to, our products featuring alongside that. So what they did instead is they drink Jake Danzels. And they make the bottles look like Jack Daniels, but it's not Jack Daniels.
We've all bought Aldi store, Old Samuel, whatever they call it there.
Yeah.
That's the same shape bottle. You know what they're trying to be.
And you might be wondering, why is this a perfect case study for this story? Well, Sons of Anarchy eventually became a pretty good show. People like the show. They like the characters, even though they're all assholes who murder people. And Jack Daniels ended up approaching cast members on the show to promote one-off exclusive bottles of Jack Daniels with Sons of Anarchy logos on it. And it's you could have had the advertising for free. They could have had it for free.
Just by letting them use the bottles.
They could have said, oh yeah, you can use it for free, and just had their brand be synonymous with that show from day one and not paid a penny. Instead, that's come crawling back years later and pay members of the principal cast millions of dollars for their likeness and the rights to the show's imagery.
Just seeing a product like that on a TV show or a film is very appealing. Like I think about Kingsman. Like they had their own brand of, I think, Kingsman whiskey or something, which led them to the Statesman. And you see something like that, and I'm like, I want to try that. I want to try that product.
And just what makes this such a hilariously, deliciously ironic case study is that both of these shows aired at the same time on the same network and have the same people behind the scenes trying to secure the rights. And that's just really, really funny to me. Brands, eh? I guess something we can address, Brad, since it's kind of been the topic of discussion in today's video, is that, we are humans who live in the real world, yes?
Yes.
We use products. Some of those products are branded. Yeah? And we have preferences and, just personal taste when it comes to our choice in products, beverages, stuff like that.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, where am I going?
Is it if you show something in a video, people automatically assume you're either promoting it or that you absolutely adore that product?
Yeah. It's just the fact, no, it's just, we bought it. It's like, like Jack Daniels. I buy Jack, it was 18 quid a bottle. I'm not promoting it, it's just I like Jack Daniels and it was cheap. Why did you drink it in the video or why is it on display? Because I have it there because I stream and I, sometimes I drink like bourbon in my videos. And that's the thing, yeah. And what frustrates me most about that is that on YouTube, you have to clarify when something is an ad.
Yeah, you literally, there's a box to tick that says we've been paid for this product.
Yeah. But people...
Otherwise, it's just free advertising for the company if it's in the video.
And that's the reason why as well, why it's not advertising, because we do things like, drink it on camera. And that's the thing, fun fact, people don't know this, alcohol brands, when they sponsor stuff or have ads on TV, you're not allowed to drink the product.
Is that just a British thing?
Yeah, but it's on adverts though. In a movie, sure, yeah, but on adverts, you're not allowed to drink alcohol in British TV adverts. Speaking of which, I'm going to get me some Olmeca. Good. Do you know why I have this as well? It's very relevant to the news that's happening right now. So I bought this in anticipation of one very specific outcome about 4 years ago. Can you hazard a guess at why I would have a bottle of high quality tequila ready to take a sip out of around 4 years ago?
Is it something to do with a general an election?
Yes, it was. My ex-girlfriend at the time was American, and we were watching the election. And I bought this so that we could drink it when Trump lost. And he did, and lost he did, and drink we did as well.
But did he lose though?
Yeah.
Did he lose? Yes. Because I've heard all these stories and things that he didn't lose.
But that goes down smooth. And I bought Olmeca because it was just advised to me by a friend of mine who likes tequila.
So that's 4 years old.
Yeah, but alcohol doesn't go off.
I know, but you clearly don't drink a lot of tequila.
Well, no, because tequila for me is one of those
special occasion drink.
Yeah, because I think it costs 45 quid, which is something that's not expensive. It is for someone who's northern.
I mean, I've got in my flat the Brandy Dragon.
The Brandy Dragon, yeah.
That was 90 quid.
Yeah, that's the thing. I had a bottle of Maker's Mark. I think I spent 80 quid on a one-off reserve that they do for airports or something. Yeah, speaking of which, what's your favourite alcoholic beverage, Brad? And while we discuss this, folks at home, if you want to help support us so we can buy more tequila to drink cause I'm going to buy a new bottle when he dies. Well, when he dies, I want to be doing 2 bottles. Let's go. So, yeah, you can support us on Patreon so we can get more alcohol to take drinks of when Trump dies. It's that thing of the jokes, like when Margaret Thatcher died. Did you drink when she died?
No, I don't really have a stance of I'm going to celebrate the death of somebody.
I grew up in a northern...
I don't object to other people doing it.
I grew up in a northern colliery town that was absolutely just destroyed by Margaret Thatcher's policies. So when she died, I did indeed drink, yes. But yeah, you mentioned your Brandy Dragon. I guess if we can get a picture of the Brandy Dragon. What's the brandy? It's just a dragon full of brandy, right?
It's a glass dragon with brandy in it. And it is an expensive type of brandy.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it's really nice. But obviously, that's a special occasion drink. Have you had some?
No, you've never let me sip on your Brandy Dragon.
I guess you'll have to have some Brandy Dragon next time you're over.
Sounds good. I'll sip on your Brandy Dragon.
I would go on that Brandy Dragon.
Yeah, that's the one.
No, I think my favourite alcoholic beverage of all time is the Purple Rain cocktail. Because it's Curacao cherry sours mixed together with lemonade. And it's just really smooth. And
that's a good way to say smooth.
Yeah, I could literally just down bottles of it because it's incredible. I think it's Wetherspoon's the place they make it that they serve it the most.
That sums up as well the level of our class right there. Where does it? Spoons.
But yeah, it's super simple to make. It's really nice, and it's it's the spot when you need it. I think if I had to pick something a bit more expensive, I like Glenfiddich, Morgan Spice rum,
Scotch. I can't deal with Scotch. It tastes like mud. And I know like Scotch drinkers out there like, oh, it's an acquired taste. And I learned something many, many years ago that completely destroyed any like faith or stock I put in like, you know, whiskey and coffee and beer connoisseurs. Do you know what that fact is?
Is it the same as the wine one, where if you don't tell them, they can't tell the difference?
No, it's that as you age, the number of taste buds you have goes down, because taste buds just die and they don't generally get replaced. I don't think they get replaced at all, but like, your taste buds die, and that's why as you get older, you start to get drawn to stronger and stronger taste profiles. So you probably think when you were younger and you tried beer, it was very bitter.
Yeah.
But then as you get older, it tastes all right. And
it's still bitter for me now, but we give it 20 years.
Yeah, but like a lot of people say, it's like, you know, you get used to it, and it's no, your taste buds die and you're tasting less of it. It's like something, a common example that's used is, when you were a little kid, you remember hating broccoli, spinach, vegetables. Remember, oh, it tastes like shit.
Sprouts specifically.
Yeah, they taste awful, right? And now you're older, it's like, why did I ever hate this? And or like another one is sugar. When you're a little kid, you can have sugar all the time. When you get older, you can't handle it. And you think, well, how can I eat this much sugar? It's because you had more taste buds as a kid, and your taste buds don't like bitter. You could taste more of the bitterness. Same like coffee, tea, beer, whiskey. So when people say, like, oh yeah, you get old men saying, oh, you young people just can't appreciate it. It's like, well, neither can you. You literally cannot appreciate it as much as I can, because you have less ability to taste it. And I do, and it tastes awful. And that's why it destroyed any stock I put in that. Obviously, like, you know, you like what you like, but when people, like, you always have like older people, like when kids are drinking like, you know, Red Bulls and VKs and like sweet ciders and stuff, and like, oh, I couldn't drink any of that muck. Why don't you drink a proper drink? It's like, 'cause when they taste it, they can taste more of it than you, and the bitterness is like, you know, just unpalatable.
I feel like I've gotten worse at drinking spirits as I've gotten older, though.
And that's what goes down to, like, you know...
I think that's more to do with the fact that I spent a few years not really drinking anything.
And then your metabolism as well. Your metabolism is also something. So your ability to metabolize alcohol, sugar, and the like goes down. But yeah, I remember when I learned that, and it just really put into perspective all those like smarmy arseholes who were like 40 of like, oh, I don't know why you drink that shit. Or like coffee snobs and stuff like that of like, oh, why do young people put like all this sweet stuff in their coffee? Why can't they just enjoy the coffee for its own sake? It's like, because they're tasting more of it than you, and it doesn't taste nice. Bitterness is naturally off-putting to most people. That's just something I learned. I was like, oh yeah. I just found it very amusing to me that the people who claim, it's like, you know, have literally claim to have better taste than other people, quite literally have worse taste, and that's why they're able to, like, you know, appreciate it more. Fun, eh?